So, guys, glorious evening. And if we do not get to see you before Thanksgiving, friends, happy Thanksgiving to you, cool cats. So, guys, it's your chaos coordinator, Coach B, signing in, friends, coming at you from the Underdog Laboratories here in Nash Vegas. Whoop, whoop, yeah, Nash Vegas. So, guys, yesterday we jumped on the show talking about try this next time, part one. Well, today, guys, we're going to continue that. Try this instead of that. Take two. So, this is take two, guys, as we continue on getting kind of prepared for the holiday season is upon us. And too many times, stress gets a little bit overwhelming during holiday months. And a lot of times, this stress is self imposed, at least for me. I get stressed about I got to get the kids here and I got to get the kids there. I got to be to this dinner and that dinner. But, guys, we're going to be talking about part two. So, yesterday we kind of went over like this graphic of instead of doing this, do that. And it was more of a mindset thing. Well, as we continue down this journey of talking about mindset, we're going to dive into when we're working through these various habits that we're going to try to start replacing as the holiday months show up. Let's first start with fast food versus a homemade meal. Well, just from the standpoint of cost alone, but guys, as we start into the holiday months, at least what I have seen as I work in various corporate wellness profiles and various corporate wellness companies, a lot of times people will bring in sugary cakes, sweets, donuts, pastries, various things. They are attempting to do something nice for the colleagues, for the employees, for the teammates, the coworkers, various things. So, guys, do me a favor if you are on tonight. I see a couple of you jumping in and jumping out. I don't necessarily know who you guys are that keep hopping in, but do me a favor. If you're watching live, hashtag live in the chat for me. If you're watching this bad boy on the replay, do one and the same. Drop a replay in the chat for us. And more than that, guys, let's take it to another level. As I first jumped on, I said, hey, guys, this is Coach B. Boo! Your chaos coordinator coming in from the Underdog Laboratories in Nash Vegas, Tennessee. Do me a favor, guys. Drop if you're on live or watching this on the replay, but where in the world are you watching this from tonight? Let's get a little bit interactive with tonight's show. So here we go, guys. Jumping into try this instead of that. As we get prepared for the holidays, and more than that, January. We see too many times people's New Year's resolutions are pretty like, I really need to do this thing for my health. Well, those New Year's resolutions typically fall apart pretty fast. So what we're going to be working together, guys, is how do we get these New Year's resolutions started off with some healthy habits in the beginning, so that we've got our basis, so that we've got our foundation set. So when we're talking about replacing habits, I don't want people to start trying to get rid of things. But let's just say you typically utilize fast food for any certain reason, whether that's we left the house too late to be able to get something to eat, or something happens. Whether this was a lack of preparation or something completely out of your control. What are some things that we can do as we work through try this next time? If we're going to try to get rid of certain behaviors or certain habits, we're going to focus on replacing them instead of stopping them, which takes us back to fast food. If we know that we're always going to be on the run in the mornings or during lunchtime, or for me, like when the kids get home from about 5 o'clock on, it's chaos in our house. Well, there's 6 of us in our house. Well, just think about 6 people trying to do anything in a small, confined space when we're all trying to accomplish individualized things. Half of them's got band stuff, so they're honking on their instruments. I'm trying to do my Facebook Live and give you guys value each and every night. So I'm like, hey, you guys need to shut up. You guys need to be quiet. It's going to be difficult. So we know, at least in our house, from 5 o'clock till about 9 o'clock, it's just chaos. So what can we do in preparation for knowing that it's chaotic and we need to have dinner? So instead of turning to fast food, I want you to try this next time. Maybe we prep something in the crock pot the evening before. So all we have to do when we leave in the morning is turn that bad boy on high, and we are ready to go whenever Cassie and I get home in the afternoons to just take that dude out of the crock pot, insert meal recipe ideas. I have got a slew of them on our website. So here's what we're going to do. Since we're talking about this and I want to over deliver some value, what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to drop my website. So I want you to use this thing. Leverage this guy. It is absolutely completely free. Go to carbidehealth.com, and if you scroll up to the top and it says nutrition, click nutrition, and then there's a recipes tab. Completely free. I'm pimping out my website. Use and abuse that dude. So guys, there are all kinds of recipe ideas, whether it's breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, vegan, doesn't matter. It's there for you. So guys, as we start to dive into try this next time. So an example there with the fast food is having a homemade meal. Well, one, it's going to be cheaper. Two, the nutrition content is going to be better because you controlled what went into that meal. So think like high amounts of sodium and fats and probably a whole bunch of stuff that you can't pronounce that they're using as a preservative. So now let's move on. Scrolling on your phone. Now I'm going to pick on my wife. I know occasionally she jumps on here. And occasionally she catches this show on the record. But I'm going to pick on my wife here. And guys, once again, if you're on live, drop a live in the chat for me. And drop where are you watching this show from. So guys, Coach B coming in from Nash Vegas here in Tennessee. But guys, scrolling your phone before bedtime, scrolling your phone while you're eating. What typically ends up happening as we mindlessly scroll our phone, that can cut into our sleep. Whether you realize it or not, the light that your phones or our devices emit are causing us to not be able to sleep or not be able to get into like a natural rhythmic sleep pattern, which is affecting our deep sleep, our restorative sleep. like that thing that allows our brains to kind of do what they do, the central nervous system to kind of recover, us to grow muscle, all those things that we kind of like need so that we can de-stress our bodies and function like a normal human being the next day. Well, guys, the scrolling of your phones is having a direct correlation to that. And I see this a lot of times, especially if we have to go out to eat because there is no other option. How many people we see, my wife is oh my gosh, this just turns into pick on Cassie night, but my wife is a people watcher. And then I'm watching my wife because I too am a people watcher. So I'm watching her watch other people. Is that not just weird? We're freaking weirdos. I don't mind being a little weird. But I have noticed that people don't pay attention to the food they're eating. You know, they're sitting there at the table or the bar or the booth, you know, and even the kids too. They're swiping, they're scrolling, they're taking a bite. Hardly anybody is drinking drinks after bites. Actually, very few people are even touching their drinks at all. And the ones that do, it's like sweet teas, it's some kind of soda or some kind of like alcohol. And I'm not bashing sweet teas or sodas or alcohol, but it's loaded with sugar. So as we kind of start to tie these things together here, mindlessly scrolling is affecting our sleep, but it's also forcing us, and I say forcing us because it's happening subconsciously, that we're not paying attention to the food that we eat. We're not taking time to actually pay attention to chewing because we're just mindlessly scrolling. So we're just eating, and then we end up overeating because we didn't pay attention to the amount of food we ate. We just ate until we felt satisfied. Well, by that point, we done overate probably 3, 4, 5, 700 calories worth of food. This mindless scrolling has already interrupted 30, 40, 60, 70 minutes of restorative sleep. Well, guys, as we continue to work our way through this graphic, what about having toxic friendships? So try this next time. Get a coach. And I talked about this on our show yesterday about how coaches even need coaches. Well, guys, I'm so jacked up. I got more than one coach. I actually have a nutrition coach. I have a nutrition business coach. I have a gym coach. I also have a mindset coach. I have a business coach. Guys, having toxicity in your life, whether it is things you are allowing into your eyes, into your ears, allowing into your mouth, those things are affecting us on a deeper level than we realize. Toxic friendships, toxic relationships. We can take it one step further. And I'm not talking like your spouse, your significant other. I'm talking about things you allow to enter into your life. Maybe the TV shows you're watching, maybe the music or the music genres that you have opted to listen to. These things are feeding into our subconscious. These things are kind of rewiring our mind in the way we process information, the way we can handle or our inability to handle stress. And we are allowing ourselves, and I am very guilty of this myself, especially from a business standpoint. I have entertained business deals that they didn't really feel right, but I was just like, well, the price is right. Let's roll. Let's do this. And I very quickly realized that I entered into a business deal, a business agreement that was just toxic. It was not good from one, my family, my immediate peace, but also the longevity of my life because it created stress. And stress therefore affected my sleep. And then it affected my mindset, which then affected my marriage, which then affected everything. So, guys, as we continue to work through try this next time, and we continue to work through these graphics, I want you to notice that these things start to build upon themselves. How selecting fast food instead of a homemade meal is putting highly processed food into our bodies, which then is junking up the system because it's called junk food for a reason. It's junking up our arteries, which is then affecting our blood flow, which is then affecting our ability to think clearly. And then we start scrolling our phones and feeding our minds all kinds of useless knowledge that doesn't necessarily help in any way, shape, form, or fashion, which is then affecting our sleep. And then we've got toxic friendships or toxic relationships in our lives. And then we can just layer on one more thing: binge watching TV shows. Now, how does that play into our lifestyle? Well, what I have seen already with our nutrition program, because to this point, we've already worked with over 60,000 people all across the world. And when you start dealing with that many different people, you start to recognize patterns. And one of the patterns that we as coaches have recognized whenever we're talking about binge watching TV shows is we start to try to live a life through the TV shows that we're watching, or we somehow start to fantasize about a unrealistic life, which can then create issues in your marriage, issues with your coworkers, your kids, your friends, your family members, because we start to watch these shows and how Hollywood or how screenwriters project the perfect marriage and what that should look like, or the perfect work environment and what that should look like, or just over inducing drama, chaos, murder, explosions, all kinds of negativity. Well, those overstimulation of our senses can start to have negative effects. More than that, if we look at how much we're sitting idle, our bodies were designed to move, guys, and we need to add more movement to our lives because this is what keeps us out of, well, one, having pain in our joints. This is how we keep our weight in balance. This is how we keep our heart, which is honestly, I'm not against bodybuilding or any one of those certain type of exercise routines. However, your heart is the most important muscle in your body. We got to take care of that, dude. We've also got to take care of our mind. So when we can keep the junk food from junking up the system and our heart can do its job and kind of like pump the blood through our body the way it's supposed to, and our muscles and our bone density and all that jazzercise is working the way it's supposed to, and we can kind of work our bodies through full ranges of motion without causing pain or discomfort, we're going to increase our longevity of life. We're going to increase our quality of life. And my friends, that is what this is all about. Because when we substitute complaining about various things that maybe are in our control or maybe not at all in our control, and we replace those things with gratitude, we will see immediate change in our mindset, in how we can handle stress, in how we will sleep better, which will then make us want to make better food choices, which then means we can ultimately take responsibility instead of pointing blame at others about insert the topic. We all can take responsibility over our bank accounts, over our religion of whatever that may look like for you, our ability to move, because I can blame other people for my own problems and why I've got arthritis in my knees. I could blame the military. Why this shoulder doesn't seem to work properly, because I opted to drive my motorcycle like a retard and I wrecked it and I destroyed my shoulder. I could blame the dog that ran out in front of me. I could blame the people who did not leash their dog or keep their dog contained. I could have blamed the fog, but it was ultimately my fault for not being a responsible driver. I could blame various things, how I don't eat enough, I don't sleep enough, I don't exercise enough. I wish I coulda, shoulda, woulda, but didn't. We can take full responsibility, and we can take that responsibility and then stop overthinking and overanalyzing why I can't lose weight, why I can't find time to get to the gym, why I can't find time to make my own meals, why I can't find enough time to get enough sleep, why I can't afford a mentor, why I can't afford an exercise routine, why this, why that. Guys, let's wrap this thing up. We have control over our lives, but there are going to be certain things we do not have control over. But if we can find a way to try this instead of that, it's these little bitty actions that make a difference. It's these tiny little, what one might say is insignificant actions, will add up over time. And those insignificant actions will start to compound. Now you've got a little bitty ball. Now you can start to get some momentum. And just like making a snowman, just keep rolling that ball. And as you keep rolling that ball forward, even if it's with an insignificant amount of effort, you're going to make forward progress. But when you start to see how the sleep makes you feel, it's then going to affect your mood. And then you're going to start to notice how crappy you feel when you have fast food. It's going to make you want to have better quality of food. When you start to see that the people that you are choosing to entertain in your life are actually causing you more stress, trade those toxic friendships out for someone who's going to lift you up. Trade out those binge sessions for maybe like, hey, we're going to watch 1 or 2 episodes tonight, but we're going to find 10 to 15 minutes to exercise, even if it's from home. Finding a way to stop complaining about things that you can't control and focusing on the things that you can control will change everything for you. So, guys, this is your chaos coordinator, Coach B, signing off, friends. It has truly been an honor to serve you this evening and give you more tips and tricks that you can apply to your life so we can increase the quality of life and the longevity of life as well. Guys, God bless. Have a wonderful evening, and we will catch you guys again tomorrow with another tip.